Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do a Should You Pull on the Clouded Darkness banner coming up. So basically we're going to get Clouded Darkness, Setzer, and Sarah, and this is going to be Clouded Darkness getting an FR and a C90 rework, and then Setzer is also getting a C90 rework. Sarah's kind of along for the ride. She's already gotten her C90, so she's just kind of a returning character on the banner. So I'll just start off by talking about Sarah. I'd say Sarah isn't the character you should be gunning for if you're pulling on this banner. I'd say, after my explanation, you might want to wait till my character guides come out. But if you decide you're going to pull for Cloud of Darkness or Setzer, because to me those are the ones you would want to pull for here if you're going to pull, just think of Sarah as a nice option that you can grab on the side. Sarah does have like some good debuffs in her kit. She's got like HP poison. Or not HP poison, sorry, just like a brave poison, like a regular poison. But then she's also got some pretty good auras. Like when she came out, when she initially got her LD, they actually gave her like a global first buff, and she was actually really good at that time, and she's still pretty decent to this day. And on JP, I believe she recently got her FRBT, and she's actually looking pretty good over on the JP side. So I would think Sarah is just, she's a nice like slot 3 support character in terms of like auras. If you're kind of looking for that, but once again, she's not like the most crazy meta-relevant unit at this time, right? Now let's talk about Setzer. Setzer I think is very interesting, and you can see here I got my boy Blue Armor, and I think that's partially because it's Final Fantasy VI, and I love Final Fantasy VI. Setzer though is a very cool character, and he's one of the more unique characters in the game. And basically every time Setzer returns, he's typically meta-relevant. And the reason why is because of like the really unique things that his kit does. So he does have delay in his kit. It's just like a little one-turn delay, not the biggest thing, but the two things that make Setzer really crazy. He has an on-demand freeze debuff. And if you saw one of my runs recently where I used Cater in Dare to Defy, like you see how ridiculous the freeze debuff is, because Cater's also got it. It's not a very common mechanic that characters have. The freeze debuff basically makes it so that enemies can't gain Brave. Whether they break you or try to just straight up Brave gain themselves, like if that debuff is on, their Brave just does not go up. Which in turn makes it so they can't HP damage you. If they're broken or their Brave is at 0 and you inflict that sucker, they can't gain Brave. It's awesome. So that makes Setzer very good. And then the other thing that makes Setzer really good is he has rainbow numbers in his kit. Rainbow numbers are a very rare mechanic. I believe on Global it's just him and Core that have it. There may be another character that got it on a rework. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but those are the two main ones I can think of right now. For those of you that don't know what rainbow numbers are, basically rainbow numbers are just automatic maximum brave damage that the character can deal. So basically it ignores defense and other mechanics. So like if there's enemies that are super defensive or they're trying to reduce all your brave damage to 1, the rainbow numbers just bypass that. So that's like the freeze debuff and the rainbow numbers are the two things that have kept Setzer basically meta relevant always when he returns, and even past when his prime should be, because he enables the party, because the rainbow numbers will apply to the entire party. So that's very, very cool with Setzer. With Setzer's rework, he does get very competitive damage. Like, they just gave him a ton of HP dumps on his attacks, so he's actually doing, like, very competitive damage as well. So with my fully maxed out Setzer, I'm actually be very interested to see how he's looking during his character guide. So keep an eye out for that, but I'm going to try to get his guide out pretty quick once he gets that upgrade, right? Now, Cloud of Darkness. Cloud of Darkness, for those of you not familiar, they are basically a magic damage dealer with a huge focus on delay. Like, they do a ton of delay to the enemies, and that's really a big part of what they do. And then they have a very, very good BT effect, basically giving them follow-ups every time. And those follow-ups are kind of crazy. You can abuse those. You guys that have been playing Shinryu, you already know how busted follow-ups are in this era with using characters like Cissnei and Kain, right? So Cloud of Darkness now is another character that will allow you to do that while having some of that delay ability in their kit as well. Now, Cloud of Darkness is getting an FR here, and the FR effect is pretty interesting. Basically, any magic brave damage is going to do a 5% buff, but I believe off turn will add to that as well, once per turn. And then if you delay an enemy through breaking, you get 20%. But if you do just like a straight up delay attack, you actually get 50% instead of 20. And when the part where you break an enemy through delay, or you delay by breaking, that can be done off turn once per turn. So the big combo that works great if you're going to use Cloud of Darkness's actual FR is to pair them up with Sephiroth. Because Sephiroth's BT basically, if you're not familiar with it, resets all the Brave to 1 of the enemies after every action. So basically with that setup, Cloud of Darkness is going to be doing off turn and just breaking every turn with off turn, and you're going to be getting like 25% to your gauge during off turn, right? And then on turn, if you delay with Cloud of Darkness and you do an actual delay attack, which they have a lot of, you'll get 50%. Not to mention that delay is actually like, there's a lot of characters in the game that can just straight up do delay attacks. So like Setzer, for example, being one. I think like Fujin and Kane, they have like those EXs that like launch and delay. So like, and Fujin's AA delays also. So like, yeah, there's just a ton of characters out there that delay. Actually, I'll show you guys something here in game that you might not realize. So don't forget that we have these traits here, right? So if you want to figure out, like, let's say you want to do Cloud of Darkness and you really want to figure out like what delay characters do I have, I believe that's considered enemy turn manipulation. So if you went in here and I just went and did a search, so if I go in here and I do filter traits and I filter by enemy turn manipulation, you're going to see all these characters in the game have enemy turn manipulation. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a delay, so you'd have to like look at the character specifically, but all these characters potentially have some type of delay in their kit. So you can see it's a lot of characters that have that, right? So a lot of options, like Rams has got it on his LD, right? Like there's just some good options in there. So I'm going to go ahead and filter this back. Okay. So just wanted to show that. So now the big question is should you pull on these characters? Let me go ahead and pull it back up here. So should you pull on this Cloud of Darkness banner? So here's the thing. Cloud of Darkness and Setzer are very, very good characters. So if you like the way they sound, or you watch my character guides and you really like their playstyle, then definitely pull for them. Also, if either of these are like a favorite character of yours and you want to invest in them, definitely pull for them. I would say for the average player, and especially if you don't have the resources right now, or you only have the resources to really invest in like 1 or 2 characters, I would probably skip, because you're going to want those resources for Luna Freya. I think Luna Freya is a more meta-relevant character than what you're going to get on this banner, but there's definitely some very good things here coming from Setzer and Cloud of Darkness. In Setzer, I mean, he's a very high-value LD-only character, so you don't need a ton for his kit, and a lot of you might already have Setzer, so you know, you might just like log into the game when this drops and it's just like Christmas. You've got Setzer ready to go. That's what it's going to be for me. I literally don't need to pull anything for Setzer, and he's going to be ready to go, and he's going to be awesome. So, but for Cloud of Darkness, the big thing is if you're going for Cloud of Darkness FR, only go for it if you, one, want to use the FR and you want to use that FR ability. And 2, I would say you really should be willing to commit in green Cloud of Darkness. If you're not willing to commit to green, or you don't have the resources to do it, or you don't really want to use the FR effect, then I would say just skip this and save for Luna Freya. So that would be my recommendation to most players. Is as good as these characters are, I do feel like this is a skippable banner for you. It's one that I'm pretty much going to skip. Like, I'm going to summon to try to get the FR, but I'm just going to dump in like 100 tickets. Like, I'm really low on resources in terms of tickets, and I'm in the low 300Ks for gems, which is actually the lowest I've been in a while. And I'm not going to fully invest my Cloud of Darkness. So I'm going to throw the tickets in, because if I get the FR, I do want to max it out, because I like getting the Power Stones for that, or the, what do you call them, the Force Stones for that. And then I can show the FR during the character guide. Now, if I don't pull the Force Weapon, I'm going to hopefully have a friend Cloud of Darkness up, and I can demo it that way. So anyways, guys, the short answer is the average player, I would say skip. But if you like the characters, want to use them, they're definitely like pull-worthy characters. If you like them and you like their kits, then definitely go for it. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.